Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a comparison test today between the Elgato Facecam and the Pro version of Camo Studio to help you decide which is going to be the best buy for 2023. So let's get into it. Okay, so straight out of the box. Okay, first of all, the Camo for 720p 30. I think it's a pretty good picture. I think this is what most people are going to be happy with if they're just using Zoom or Microsoft Teams or anything like that, or even just if they're in a small square streaming. This is going to look absolutely fine. The Elgato, on the other hand, for the price, straight out of the box, it just doesn't look like a good webcam. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into the camera hub. So this is just fresh out of the box. This is what it looks like. There is a couple of settings that you can change. There's not a huge amount to it, especially in comparison to Camo Pro, but there is enough here that you can make a decent image out of it. I have to use display capture, so this is going to be a bit finicky. First of all, in regards to this, I'm noticing that a lot of the shadows behind me are absolutely crushed when it comes to the contrast. Like if you look at the Winstabyte bit in the corner there where the Enterprise ship is, like it doesn't look that dark in reality, and a lot of it is due to the contrast. If I remove the contrast totally, this looks a hell of a lot more, this looks more realistic. Saturation, I think it kind of looks in around 50 to 55, looks absolutely fine, maybe 50. Sharpness, there's not really any need to adjust this because it makes it look absolutely worse. So the standard on 2 is fine. I would not leave this on automatic. Turn this off and like that looks better already. We are at 60 FPS 1080p, so a standard rule of thumb would be to move this to double the figure of the FPS. So for shutter speed, if it's 60 FPS, we're going to move this up to 120. So it does look quite dark now at the moment, but we will fix this by just upping the ISO a little bit. I do like on Elgato you can use the up and down arrows to kind of adjust the image a little bit better. On my screen, in around 250 looks probably best. And with the white balance, we're going to adjust this a little bit as well. Tends to make my skin look a little bit more yellow, or put it more like a sepia tone. Reality is a bit disappointing, obviously. No, but it looks a little bit better in a lower Kelvin. I'm trying to look at the background, even the light here. That looks more like reality there. You can turn on noise reduction if you want, but it does really make it look a little bit blurry. You can definitely, if you just up the light and reduce the ISO, you can probably make it a little bit less. Let's do that right now. I currently have the Elgato key lights here. 2 of them at 50% at the moment. Let me get my Elgato. So if I was to really up the ante on this, I think that looks a lot better. Now I am being absolutely blinded, but it does look a lot better. Okay, we're going to adjust camo now. First things first, again, we're going to adjust the exposure. We're going to move this to double the frame rate. 120 if we can get it. There we go. The sliding bar is something I don't like in comparison to the Elgato software. Sliding is a little bit too sensitive, so sometimes I can never get it on the 120. Next, we're going to change the white balance. This looks very kind of yellowy toned in comparison to reality. I'm going to really move this down. Now I am using the iPhone 13 Pro, and iPhones tend to oversaturate and change colors a bit. And keeping an eye on my skin tone as well. Unfortunately, I'm pasty white and Irish, so it's a very whitey pinky skin, if that makes any sense. That's kind of as close as I've seen, around the 4400 Kelvin mark. I wouldn't adjust the tint. Tint makes it go all over the shop. The way I have it now kind of looks closer to reality. Now you can obviously, you're going to have to change it depending on your own room, your own lighting, but I'm just going to try and make it look as close to reality as possible here. Image adjustments you can do. So the one I use at the moment, and what I've done on my other channel, a link in the description if you'd like to have a look. I do turn on the portrait mode and have the portrait strength at the bottom. It does create kind of like a fake bokeh effect. If I wouldn't suggest turning it up because it makes it look a little bit ridiculous. Like, look at this. This is not reality. But at least if you turn the portrait mode on and have this at the bottom, there is a slight blur to the background that looks really good. I think it looks, you know, closer to DSLR quality than, you know, your phone. Let's have another look now at the Elgato. So it's obviously slightly different between the two, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was at the start. Elgato, you can still do stuff with blur. Again, I would have this down at the absolute bottom as opposed to this ridiculousness. You can also put in backgrounds if you want, but no, for today we're going to just go basic. Okay, so let's bring it back to the comparison, the side-by-side comparison. Both cameras look objectively better than they did at the start. It does still have a webcam look. There is still some highlights that I can't quite fix, especially around the cheeks and stuff like that. The Camo just looks like a more professional camera. Obviously, it is a more expensive kind of solution with, you know, the iPhone, but if you did have an older phone, I have an old Huawei I'm going to use at the end of the video just to give you a little bit of a comparison. But I do think this is much better than the Facecam. I think this image now of the Facecam is a hell of a lot better than it was at the start. It isn't something I would use solely for media creation. Like if I'm doing product reviews or something like that, I'd probably use it maybe as like a face down camera or a second camera maybe to the side, but I wouldn't use this as my main camera. If I was to, you know, make it smaller like this, if you were just streaming or whatever like that, it would still do fine, absolutely fine. But if you're doing any major kind of interviews, podcasts or something like that, I probably wouldn't use this. But yeah, I think this whole scene here, it looks a little bit more professional quality. But yeah, I just think this picture gives, I don't know, a much clearer image, much better reality. You know, I actually look like this, unfortunately, but I do look like this. This is my skin tone. The blues look correct, and even this suede kind of coat, the colors are more accurate in comparison to the Elgato. I just can't quite get it as dialed in as I'd like. But between the two, which one would you prefer? They both look pretty good for what they are now. I do think each of them are good in their own right. The Elgato one is probably one of the best cameras easily on the market. It is 1080p. Obviously, since it's been released, there are 4K cameras. There is a 4K version of the Facecam that has come out, but it's out of stock at the moment. To be honest with you, it's fairly pricey as well. What I want to do now is go over the kind of pros and cons of each. I'm going to start with the Elgato. First of all, like it still looks like a webcam. It's still webcam quality. It does look good in comparison to older webcams. If you are, you know, regardless of even anything beyond streaming, if you are even just using a webcam for work like Zoom or Microsoft Teams or something like that, this is going to be a fantastic option. You're still going to look good. It's definitely going to look better than any, you know, laptop webcam that you have on your work laptop. Obviously, if you know you don't have admin privileges on your laptop, you can adjust the image on your normal PC or whatever like that, and it saves directly to the camera. So that's a big plus with the Elgato Facecam. So the Elgato Facecam is €140 at the time of recording. It's currently on sale on Amazon Germany. I think it is a fairly expensive cost. Realistically, for most people are going to look at a webcam this price and they don't really see the value in it. With regards to the Camo, for me, it's the better picture. It looks an awful lot more. This looks more like a professional setup. Camo just looks a little bit more professional quality, better bokeh, and better colors. It's a little bit crisper. And obviously, I will say one thing: it's YouTube compression is probably going to destroy these images anyway. It's not going to look as crisp as I'm looking right now. But there is a massive difference on my screen between both of them. Even looking at them right now, for most people, I think Camo is going to be the cheaper option. It even looks better on the free version, the 720p versus, you know, Elgato out of the box. If you were to sign up to the pro version, it is quite affordable for the software that you get. So currently, at the time of recording, the pro version cost is roughly £5 a month. I'm paying £5 a month for the pro version at the moment, but you can get a lifetime license for 80. But if you have an older phone, you know, iPhone 6 or something like that, it's still going to be a better looking webcam than most webcams out there. 40 for the year. You could get nearly 3 years subscription for the price of the Elgato Facecam. That's fantastic. One problem with it though, beyond the cost, obviously nobody likes paying for anything, but if you are using this as a webcam, even for work, a lot of places won't allow you to download software like this unless you have admin privileges. I know for my own company, I'm not allowed to download this kind of software for any conference calls or whatever. So you do need to keep that in mind. In that circumstance, the Elgato Facecam is what I use. But yeah, that's the end. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see any more comparisons, or if there's anything in particular you want me to do a video on that I can actually afford, I'll do a video on at another time. I have a few videos coming down the line. I have another PC build that should be up next week as well, so lots to look forward to. But thanks so much for the support. Take care and bye for now.